Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Before we get to today's video, I wanted to let you know that my new book, The Ladder or the Grind, and personal exploration of career choices between employment or entrepreneurship comes out on Amazon on March 1st, 2020. In it, I go through all the decisions and factors that go into this career choice. I even interview other people who are both entrepreneurs or employees and talk to them about their choices and the paths that they chose. I hope you'll check it out. I'll have a link to it in the description below. Hi everyone, hope you're doing good today. I hope you're staying healthy. I know it's kind of crazy times out there between the coronavirus and what it's doing to the financial markets, what it's doing to the economy in general. And I wanted to come on today and address a couple of things actually. The biggest thing I really want to address is, read some news today that the unemployment numbers have come out and they are, I think it was 30,000 fewer people with jobs from month to month. So a 30,000 increase in the number of unemployed people. And I believe that was about a 30% uptick month over month as well. So the coronavirus is definitely impacting the economy, impacting the financial markets. It's hitting some industries worse than others. Things like restaurants, anywhere where there's large gatherings of people are really starting to be impacted. I'm hearing more and more stories of companies either closing temporarily and or laying off people. For example, I believe the big three automakers here in the United States elected to stop production. I don't know if that means that those folks are going to continue to be paid since they're union workers, but things like that are happening not just to these large companies, but also to small businesses across the United States and maybe even across the globe right now, or have in the past in places like China and Italy when they were getting hit by these types of things. But clearly the coronavirus has sort of hit us from a financial perspective. You're seeing the markets are down also 30%. I believe in the last month, maybe even in the last week or so, we've seen a pretty dramatic drop. Kind of flat today, but this is going on quite a bit. And really what all this got me thinking about is the idea of making sure that you have a plan B for your income. And what I mean by plan B is some sort of side hustle, side business, something that produces additional income for you beyond a day job or beyond your main business that you run if you're already an entrepreneur. I just can't express to you how important it is, in my opinion, to have something like that. Not just for times like this when it's really bad, when we may hit a recession, we may see unemployment increase even more. I actually think that's going to happen. But just in general, I mean, I personally, my story, if you don't know, I've had side hustles and other businesses for going on 10 years now. Started out with simple things, direct selling, all kinds of trying my hand at a variety of business models and evolving over time. Learning new skills through that period, staying up lots of late hours at night, learning new skills or putting in time doing work for clients. I used to do some bookkeeping because of my financial background for a business, and I would stay up after my family went to sleep, a couple of hours late into the night, grinding out that bookkeeping so I could charge. I don't even remember what I was charging those folks, but I imagine it probably was maybe $25 an hour. Which was nice money. What that did for us and what that continues to do for us is put us in a very much better financial position. The only thing we owe money on is this house. We have a nice nest egg set aside for emergencies. And what really got us to that point wasn't so much monitoring our expenses, but it was as much, if not more so, getting in additional income over time, and obviously being smart with our money. So I want to encourage you to think about this idea of what I call a plan B or a side hustle, whatever you want to call it. Think about adding to your repertoire additional income in some way. If you have money to invest and that can kick off additional income for you, like investing in real estate, we do some of that as well. that's great. If you have that kind of wherewithal right now, if you don't, a great way to do it is to do some side hustling. Yes, it could mean some late nights, but it's really worth it. You learn a lot of new skills. You'll learn a lot about yourself personally and professionally, and you never know where that's going to take you. So I want you to be thinking about this idea of a plan B, and I have a few other tips to kind of give you to help you plan for that and think about what that looks like. How do I get going? Right now I want to step into, if you're not already doing some sort of side hustle or side business to increase your income, here's what I would do to get that going and get it going quickly. Now, one last comment on this. The fact that I already have them going, if the recession hit us really hard and I needed to ramp one or two of those up, I could do it quickly because they're already going. But if you don't have that right now, here's what I suggest for you in order to start your plan B, to start your side hustle, and hopefully get it off the ground quickly, whether you do lose your job and you need as much income as you can get right away, or you're just looking to sort of bolster your income and supplement your income a little bit. First thing I would really do is concentrate on what you're good at in the first place. Maybe sit down and make a list of all the skills that you have. Now, it's important when we do this that you don't think about titles. So I'm going to use some of my old titles: a teller, commercial banker, chief lending officer, all these things. What happens with our careers is we get focused on the titles that we have. And so when we start looking for new jobs or new opportunities, whether it's to start a business, we look within the constraints of those titles. And I want you to think about this more around the skills that you have, not the title you had or even the industry that you worked in. So a great example is someone I know that works in the banking industry. His name's Jim Stoneburner, great guy. And Jim was a small business lender at some banks. Not too long ago, he took one of his skills that he realized he had that was part of that role, but not everything, and he turned it into a business. And what that skill was is Jim is just phenomenal at sales. He's just excellent at building relationships and selling and asking all of the right questions. And so Jim has taken that skill and turned it into sales training for other industries. If he had focused on the fact that he was a small business lender, he would have probably maybe gone into loan brokering or something around finance, right? Maybe even bookkeeping himself or something like that. But instead, Jim focused on the skills that he had acquired to do the job that he was doing at the time and in his career. And so focus on your skills, make a list of what those are. And then the next thing I want you to do is sit down and make a list of some industries that could use skills like that. So a bad example would be if you're like Jim and you're really good at sales, in-person, person-to-person sales, it's probably not a good idea to go out and offer those skills to online businesses who strictly use Facebook ads, social media ads, Google ads, these types of things, the content marketing to pull clients to them. That would be a bad match for Jim. But industries that could use his sales training are realtors. Think about realtors right now. So the housing market's been doing really well, but I suspect because of this, we're going to see it slow a little bit, and maybe not as much as it would since we're entering, late spring and summer when it gets hot anyways. But I think we'll see it slow down and people hunker down a little bit more because they're nervous about their financial position. So realtors could use Jim's skills. Think about these, get your skills down first, then think about the industries that can leverage the skills that you have, and then think about those industries that are looking for that type of training. So that's the first couple things I would do. Then after I get skills and industries down, I would sit down and I would think about particular companies and or people that you could start calling on. Now, one of the great ways to get a business off the ground is through referral marketing. And so I always teach, whether it's raising funding for a startup or sales or whatever it is, one of my favorite lines, if you've watched any of my content, is, who do you know? So you get your skills down, get your industries down, get some companies down that you think could benefit from your service, your product that you're going to offer. And then ask myself, who do I know? Who do I have a really good relationship with that could lead me to some prospects? So maybe Jim decides that his sales training is going to be perfect for realtors, and he has a lot of contacts in the mortgage industry. Those people know all kinds of realtors. He can go back to them and say, I'm now offering sales training for realtors. Who do you know that's a realtor that you could introduce me to? Could flip that around and say, maybe Jim knows a lot of title companies, right? So he goes to them and says, who do you know that's a good realtor that maybe is not selling as many homes as they'd like to, that could benefit from a training class that I've started? So leverage that network. That's one way to spin up very quickly. That who do you know question is critical. Another way to do it is to leverage online freelancing sites. So you've heard me talk about Upwork. I'm on there. I'm actually top rated for the last 3 years in a row, which means I have the highest ratings you can get when I work with clients and I do a lot of business. These type of sites, Freelancer, Guru, Upwork, they all take a little time to build a reputation on in order to get opportunities. And you may have to take some of these opportunities for less than you would normally charge someone. So a great example is if you're going to offer virtual assistant types of services, you're going to be competing against people in the Philippines who are charging $5 to $8 an hour. I'm not suggesting you go that low, but you may have to start out on a lower end of what you would normally like to charge in order to build your reputation, to build some feedback. And then when that happens, what happened for me when I did that, make some sacrifices early on, is now I get invited to gigs instead of having to go out and find them myself. So think about leveraging your network to grow a side business. Think about, leveraging these online sites that will have projects listed that people want work done on, that you can bid on. It may take a little time to do these things, but even if it's not for immediate income now, if you've been laid off, but for down the road, I always recommend having a plan B, continuing to work on that type of thing. What's the worst that's going to happen? Learn some new skills, make some extra income, build your savings, pay off some debt. There's a reason that the multi-level marketing industry is so appealing to people, because they think about this idea of extra income. It's another video for another day why it doesn't work for a lot of people, and the fact that some of those companies aren't reputable, although plenty are. Again, another video for another day. But those types of companies have become so popular because people know that they need to make some extra income, and they know it can lead to more financial security for them, right? And so what I'm suggesting is, what are the skills that you can use in the industries that need them, and the people that you know that you can leverage to get to clients, and these online websites that can lead you to gigs that potentially you can win and at least make $50, $100, $250, $500, $1,000, couple of $1,000s a month to supplement your income while you're trying to figure out what to do if unfortunately you've been laid off, or, as I said, using that income to pay off some debt and put your family in a better financial position, so that the next time we're here as an economy in a financial position like this, you don't have to be as worried. I'm here to help you. If there's anything I can do to help you get your business off the ground, please put your questions below in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to see as I bring up other videos and topics. But reach out to me at my personal site if there's something I can do to help you in your business and you've got an immediate need, at jonathanmillspatrick.com. As always, thank you for joining me, and be safe out there. Take care.